lie down, close your eyes, and I'll tell you a bedtime story that will take you to the world of exquisite cars, where every detail is a work of art. Imagine a car where the door handles are hidden somewhere in the floor, so low that you can hardly notice them, and instead of the usual cup holder, there is a mysterious space behind the back, as if it was created for secrets that are just waiting to be revealed. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But today we will divert from the ordinary and plunge into the world of luxury, where dreams become reality. We will tell you about the most expensive and luxurious car of the last 5 decades, Lamborghini brand. This car, like no other, epitomizes the pursuit of perfection and embodies the spirit of adventure. Before we get into its breathtaking design and performance, let's take a little peek into history. How did this legend on wheels come about? What inspired the creators to create such amazing machines? Get ready as we embark on a fascinating journey through the pages of Lamborghini history, where each chapter is full of intrigue and inspiration. Ferruccio was born in 1916 in a small Italian village where his family farmed. From an early age, he was surrounded by farm work, and it was his father who became his first teacher. Hard work and dedication were instilled in him from a young age. Every day, he helped his father, and this not only developed his physical strength, but also shaped his character. As soon as something was out of order, whether it was an old grain crusher or some tool, Ferruccio was always there, ready to help. He watched with amazement as his father fixed the machinery and absorbed every word and every movement. This inspiration became the basis for his future achievements. When Ferruccio turned 12, his interest in mechanics became apparent. His parents saw that he was not just curious, but also talented. To support his passion, his father created a small workshop for him, where all the necessary tools were collected. This place became a real paradise for the young mechanic. Here he could experiment, create and master, molding parts for agricultural machinery. With each new project, Ferruccio developed his skills and deepened his understanding of how mechanisms work. He was not afraid to experiment and was always looking for new solutions, which later became the basis of his philosophy in business. These early years, full of invention and hard work, played a key role in shaping his future. A man who not only dreamed big, but acted to make it happen. One very ordinary day, as the sun shone brightly and the wind whispered softly in the fields, the young Ferruccio, once again, immersed himself in his workshop. He was surrounded by the sounds of instruments and the scents of wood. It was his sacred place, where he felt truly alive. And then, at the most unexpected moment, as he pried open one of the parts, a spark sprang from his hands and fell to the wooden floor. In an instant, the floor was engulfed in flames. But fate favored Ferruccio. His father, who was nearby, instantly knew what to do. Like a hero, he rushed to the fire and managed to extinguish it before it could burst into flames. This moment was a real lesson to both of them about the importance of being careful and attentive in their work. Despite this incident, Ferruccio did not grow cold to his passion. On the contrary, he became even more determined to study mechanics and technology. After graduating from high school, he enrolled in a technical university where he easily mastered the knowledge of casting and welding. His passion for mechanics and desire to learn more never left him for a minute. After obtaining his professional license, he wasted no time. His first job was at a local blacksmith shop where he could apply his skills and learn from the masters. In 1932, Ferruccio became one of the apprentices at the Ferrioli forge, and this was the beginning of his journey into the world of metal and technology. Having gained 2 years of invaluable experience and practice, in 1934, our hero, Ferruccio Lamborghini, decides to take the next bold step on his path. He changes his job and takes a position in a workshop in the city of Bologna, where new horizons opened up to him. Here, he worked directly with the military. This work was not just a source of income, it was his calling, his passion. Apart from the fact that the job brought him a small income, it was a real pleasure for Ferruccio. This love for his work was perhaps the main driver of his destiny. It was thanks to this passion that he would later build a brilliant career. Having acquired useful acquaintances and deepened his knowledge of blacksmithing, a year later the young master decides to return to his hometown of Cente. There, in familiar streets, he opens his own workshop together with his faithful friend Marino Filippini. They were only 19 years old, but in their hearts burned the desire for creativity and success. Every day, they worked on new projects, creating great products and dreaming of a great future. However, as happens in life, the tranquility could not last forever. In 1939, their dreams and ambitions were interrupted. The young craftsmen were drafted into the army. This unexpected twist of fate was a test for them, but Ferruccio and Marino knew that their passion for their work would not fade, and they would surely return to their dreams when the winds of change subsided. Up until 1943, Ferruccio Lamborghini worked for the army, immersing himself in the world of military technology. He repaired both domestic and imported machines on his own, and this time was a real school of life for him. Every day that he touched the mechanisms, he gained experience that he certainly would not have gotten within the walls of a university. In 1943, however, the world around him changed. The island of Rhodes, where Ferruccio was serving, was captured by the Germans. Having learned that by the time of his capture, he was already a shop foreman and personal mechanic of the top brass, the occupiers did not hesitate and put him in front of a difficult choice: prison and death, or a job as chief mechanic fixing German machinery. At that moment, he chose the job, believing that it would allow him to survive and continue doing what he loved. Even when the war was over and Rhodes was taken over by England, the talented craftsman remained on the island until 1946, continuing to accumulate knowledge and experience. He realized that these skills will be useful to him in peacetime life, and in every possible way tried to transfer them to reality. Back in his hometown, Ferruccio did not sit idle for a day. Orders poured in one after another, and by the end of 1947, there was not a single farm machine in Cente that he did not have a hand in. Realizing that his knowledge and work were in demand, he gathered all his savings and borrowed some of it from his parents. In 1948, Ferruccio decided to take a decisive step and founded his own workshop, known as Lamborghini Trattori Spa. He dreamed of creating a car that would take some of the hard work, and strangely enough, in just 1 year of work, he realized his dream. He invented his company's first vehicle. So, in 1949, Lamborghini Trattori released its first tractor, created with heart and labor. The engine, as it was customary in those times, was taken from a military truck, but the bug with the evaporator Ferruccio designed himself, putting his passion and skill into every detail. Almost all the elements of the tractor were borrowed or adapted to his vision, but this did not diminish their value. The first few tractors were offered to local farmers, and they were thrilled with the work of this mechanic and engineer. The satisfied results led them to place a dozen more orders just a few months later, and within a year, the number of requests for Lamborghini tractors became so large that the company had no time to fulfill them. Ferruccio realized that it was time to develop. He was catastrophically short of manpower, space for production, and most importantly, parts for assembly. At that point, Ferruccio was already 35 years old, and he made a conscious choice. He knew that he wanted to tie his life to the production of machinery, so he took a risky step. Through his father, he took out a loan from a local bank and provided the entire family farm and tractor production facility as a guarantee. It was a step into the unknown, but there was confidence burning in his heart. He was ready for new challenges, knowing that his dream was worth it. Yes, Ferruccio's act was risky, but in his heart he felt confident. With the round sum he received, he bought 1,000 new engines from Morris, preparing for the production of future tractors. And like a fairy tale, in the first year, he sold about 50 units of his new machinery, and the next year, this figure rose to 250. Lamborghini tractors quickly gained popularity due to their affordable price, simplicity in use, and ease of maintenance. Any boy could fix them himself. The company grew rapidly. In post-war Italy, working on the land was almost the only way to survive, and Ferruccio skillfully took advantage of this situation. Every year his team grew, as did the amount of equipment, which almost every 2 years was updated with new and better quality equipment. Up until 1960, Ferruccio was successfully engaged in the tractor business, until the idea came to expand the horizons of his business. In this year, he opened a new profitable company, Lamborghini Bruciatori, which developed boilers, heating and cooling systems, as well as began to deal with their maintenance. This decision proved to be a good one, as almost all of Italy was gradually switching from coal heating to gas heating. Revenues from both companies were impressive, thanks to the coordinated work of the entire team and the dedication of the employees. Italy's war-torn economy began to slowly but surely recover. Ferruccio, every day getting closer to his dream, continued to move forward, confidently building his legacy step by step. And now, friends, we come to one of the most important questions. How did Ferruccio Lamborghini come to the production of cars? The answer is actually simple, but full of passion and fascination. Despite the fact that his professional life was in the tractor business, Ferruccio was a true car enthusiast. He enjoyed improving his cars by adding his own designs and ideas to them. The first car to fall into Ferruccio's hands was the famous Fiat 500 Topolino. However, his heart belonged to sports cars. The first such passion for him was the Alfa Romeo 1900 Sport. In 1955, he decided to buy a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL, but soon became disappointed in this beauty and sold it, not finding in it what he was looking for. The reason for such a frequent change of cars, as Ferruccio himself later told, were numerous shortcomings, which became apparent only in the process of use. And this applied not only to lesser-known brands, but also to such giants as Ferrari and Maserati. According to him, each car was far from perfect. At different times, he had several Maserati 3500 GTs and a Jaguar E-Type, but most of all, he loved the Ferrari 250 GT in various modifications. And so, it was owning a Ferrari that pushed Ferruccio to build his first car. It happened one day when he decided to visit Enzo Ferrari's factory. He came to complain about the quality of the clutch in his Ferrari 250 GT. Ferruccio just wanted to discuss the problem with Enzo and perhaps offer his ideas for improvement. But, to his great surprise, the irascible Enzo Ferrari sent Ferruccio back to where he came from, with a wish to continue with his tractors. He called him a provincial farmer, claiming that Ferruccio understood nothing about cars, much less sports cars. This humiliation was painful for Lamborghini, and back at his factory, he was determined to prove otherwise. Angry and inspired, Ferruccio gathered his thoughts and, together with the factory's head foreman, took apart the transmission in his Ferrari 250 GT himself. And what did he see? Many of the parts turned out to be made by the same factory as the Lamborghini tractors. He found suitable substitutes in his warehouses, put everything back together, and the problem was solved. At that moment, Ferruccio made a promise to himself. He must teach Enzo Ferrari a lesson. And Ferrari himself had no idea how far Ferruccio would go in this intention. Ignited by the idea of creating his own high-speed car, Ferruccio quickly realized what equipment and characteristics should distinguish it. The engine for his first car was designed by the talented Giotto Bissarini, who had previously worked for Ferrari. The clutch, a true homage to his roots, was made identical to a tractor clutch, and designer Franco Scaglione brought to life the idea of the bodywork that became Lamborghini's trademark. In 1963, Ferruccio decided to break new ground by by founding a car manufacturing company called Ferruccio Lamborghini Automobiles. And so, at the official opening of the Turin Motor Show in the same year, his first car, the Lamborghini 350 GTV, creates a real sensation among the public, causing delight and admiration. Ferruccio immediately made it clear that his car was not intended for racing and competition. It was created to give pleasure from a beautiful ride. Interestingly, the car was only partially ready for its first appearance. However, having received several dozens of orders in May 1964, the team finalized the design and started serious production. At the next auto show in Turin, another car was presented, the P400 model. But unfortunately, Ferruccio was not completely satisfied with this model. Inspired by his desire for perfection, he finalized the 400 pesos, and in 1966 released a new improved version, which he called Miura. This car became a true icon, symbolizing not only his name, but also his commitment to quality and innovation, which became the foundation of the legendary Lamborghini brand. Nobody expected such success. In just a couple of years since the launch of Lamborghini, 764 examples of the new car were sold. The price of each car at that time started from $20,000, which certainly put them in the luxury category. But even this circumstance did not stop true connoisseurs of the car. Lamborghini, rapidly gaining popularity, bypassed Ferrari, leaving it far behind at the start. With such an amazing success, Lamborghini automobile market continued to be replenished with new models. In the early 70s, the Islero S model was born, followed by the 400 GT, which in narrow circles became known as Ferruccio's personal Rolls-Royce. During the same period, the Cheetah SUV model was also launched, designed primarily for the American Armed Forces. But the real masterpiece was the Lamborghini Countach, a car with an unusual design and guillotine-type doors, capable of accelerating up to 300 kilometers per hour. This supercar not only won the hearts of car enthusiasts, but also entered the Guinness Book of Records as the first supercar. Countach was produced until 1990 and left an indelible mark in the history of automobile industry. In 1979, an improved version of the Countach LP 400S was presented, with a 455 horsepower engine, and for the first time in the history of the brand, a 4-valve engine. However, despite all the achievements and upsurge, Ferruccio, unexpectedly for everyone, decided to leave the post of the head. The reason for his decision was the termination of the contract for the supply of agricultural machinery to South America. And here, friends, it was this that plunged the Lamborghini company into a state of crisis from which, according to Ferruccio, there was only one way out. In 1972, he decided to sell some of the company's shares to René Leimer and Georges Andry, which seemed like a sensible move at the time. But soon, in 1973, the oil crisis confirmed the correctness of his decision, collapsing the economy and making life difficult for automakers. As a result, tractor production was gradually taken over by the Italian concern Same Deutsche Fahr Grob, and Ferruccio found himself in a difficult situation. By 1974, Ferruccio had completely sold off all his shares. With the proceeds, he bought a villa in picturesque Castiglione del Langa, where he decided to start a new life of planting grapes and making wine, enjoying the tranquility. In this new phase of his life, he also made golf cars, and even once assembled a car for the Pope himself, Anna Paul II. Meanwhile, since his departure from the company, several more iconic models have been launched, such as the updated Countach LP 400 with 375 horsepower and stylish Targo-type bodywork. However, despite the new launches, financial difficulties did not leave Lamborghini. Problems with the road network and interruptions in the supply of spare parts had a negative impact on the car's popularity. These seemingly minor setbacks led to Lamborghini declaring bankruptcy in 1978. All of Lamborghini's shares were put up for auction and were purchased by the Mimra brothers. It seemed that with the new management, everything would get better, but in just a couple of years, the fate of the company turned its back on it again. It fell into the hands of the Chrysler Corporation, under whose leadership the improved model Lamborghini Countach was released, which received the memorable name Diablo. However, even this splendor could not save Lamborghini from accumulating financial problems. The company's story continued to evolve, and soon Lamborghini changed hands again. This time, all shares were acquired by a rather large investment Indonesian group, MTech. The new director was Tommy Suharta, who, unfortunately, could not offer anything progressive and relevant, but easily increased the debts of the company. With increasing competition and financial difficulties, in 1998, Lamborghini was again at a crossroads, changing its owners. So continued a series of trials and changes that forced Lamborghini to find its way in the complex world of automobile manufacturing, refusing to give up, despite all the vicissitudes of fate. And now, a new, and, as it turned out, the last owner of the controlling stake, Audi AG, comes on the scene. Audi AG became the one who was able to take control and qualitatively organize the production of Lamborghini at a completely new level. Under their influence, the design of cars underwent significant changes, becoming more universal, modern, and stylish. Thanks to the invested forces and financial resources of Audi AG, today, the entire Lamborghini model range is considered a symbol of luxury lifestyle all over the world. These cars are not just vehicles, they are real works of art, created with love and care. Exclusive components are specially ordered for them, and the unique and expensive design falls in love with thousands of buyers from different parts of the world. In 2001, a new model called Murcielago was launched on the market and became a real hit. A total of 400 copies of this magnificent car were sold, and each of them became the embodiment of the desire for perfection and luxury. So, with the arrival of Audi AG, Lamborghini regained its position and continued to write its unique history on the pages of the automobile industry. The same year saw the inauguration of the Lamborghini History Museum, which continues to delight visitors to this day. Here, everyone can not only immerse themselves in the rich history of the brand, but also touch the iconic cars that have become true icons for all time. 10 years after this landmark event, the Lamborghini lineup was enriched with a new masterpiece, the Lamborghini Aventador, capable of accelerating to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3 seconds. This car has become a true symbol of speed and power, and since 2014, the world saw another model, Lamborghini Huracan, which quickly won the hearts of sports car lovers. 3 years later, in 2017, the Lamborghini Urus SUV appeared in the lineup, which differed in its impressive size and stylish color scheme. It's no secret that Lamborghini cars can often be seen in the Arab Emirates, where the local police proudly patrol the streets in these magnificent cars. They also found their application in the Italian police, where Lamborghini are used for transportation of donor organs, because speed and reliability are of paramount importance here. But the most interesting examples can be found in the heart of the Vatican, in St. Peter's Square. Here the police use smaller cars, resembling Lamborghinis of the Golf class, to maneuver nimbly among the crowds of tourists and effectively pursue potential criminals. This makes them much more comfortable than a supercar. Today, the Lamborghini logo remains unchanged, preserving its iconic symbolism and attracting the attention of car connoisseurs around the world. The golden color of the Lamborghini logo, which has been shining since 1963, doesn't just adorn the emblem. It symbolizes the superiority and rich tradition of this car maker. But few people know why exactly this sign was chosen by Ferruccio. The fact is that the animal depicted on the logo was not chosen by chance. Ferruccio Lamborghini was born under the sign of Taurus and believed that the influence of this sign helped him to form the character, thanks to which he achieved such success. He always went the extra mile, even when it seemed that all doors were closed. It is noteworthy that in just 9 years of managing the company, Ferruccio was able to completely change the automotive world. He introduced into the production of sports cars the knowledge he had gained from his work in the tractor business, and thus created unique cars that became real masterpieces. He realized almost all of his dreams. He aspired to be better than Enzo Ferrari, and he certainly became better. Moreover, he even wanted to outlast his rival. When Enzo Ferrari passed away at the age of 90, Ferruccio was determined to live to be 91, to outlast him in that as well. But, as is so often the case in life, fate decreed otherwise. Unfortunately, that was not to be. Ferruccio Lamborghini passed away on February 20th, 1993, at the age of 76, leaving an indelible mark in the history of automobile industry. Since the first Lamborghini branded car, 23 different models have been produced, including the most recent, each of which continues to tell a story of courage, ambition, and passion for speed. The Aventador Miura was produced in limited numbers, just 50 cars. It became a real treasure for true connoisseurs of the Lamborghini brand. Every year the value of this model grows by a couple million, and even in complete silence, sitting in a luxurious salon, you can feel how cars, as if by magic, become more and more valuable. Ferruccio Lamborghini made it a rule from the very beginning that his cars did not race. Under his leadership, the company did not produce racing cars, and it was his principal decision. However, when Rossetti took over the company, times changed. Together with BMW, they decided to create a car suitable for auto racing, but unfortunately, Lamborghini failed in its part of the task, and the development of the car fell on the shoulders of the sports department of BMW. As a result, the BMW M1 was born. In 1986, Lamborghini, not wanting to be left out of the racing world, created the Lamborghini QVX car to compete in Group C events. The car was built, but as it happens, sponsorship problems forced the team to miss a season. The QVX was only able to compete in one non-prize race at the Koilami circuit in Johannesburg in 1986, driven by experienced driver Tief Nidella. Despite the good results, the funding program was closed, and dreams of racing a Lamborghini were a thing of the past. But that wasn't the end of the story. From 1989 to 1993, Lamborghini supplied V12 engines for Formula One cars, continuing to be part of the fast-paced world of motorsport. In 1991, Lamborghini took a bold step and fielded its own team in racing. But unfortunately, this project only lasted one season. However, time does not stand still, and in 2014, one of Staffordshire students, Mark Hostler, created a concern in memory of Ferruccio named Lamborghini Ferruccio, timed to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the famous car brand. And here, friends, we find ourselves in the wonderful world of these magnificent and mega cool cars, the world of Lamborghini sports cars, which was created by an ordinary farmer's son and later a successful tractor manufacturer. Sometimes it is hard to believe that if it were not for Ferrucci's harsh words about Enzo Ferrari, if it were not for the clutch problems on his car, perhaps the world would never have learned about those masterpieces that today have become the standard of luxury, success, and beauty. As is often the case, everything great starts small. Whether it is a simple desire to create something with your own hands, or just words thrown to the wind, they can be the beginning of something great. Friends, I guess that's all for today. I'm interested to know your opinion about this amazing story, so please leave comments. Also, don't forget to rate the video. See you soon.